Hello.
Oh, so, where do we leave off at? Castlevania?
I believe so. You feel refreshed?
Yes, very refreshed. Like a mint dried gum.
Mmm.
But, I was, I was in there, was just talking amongst myself, and I was talking
Talking amongst yourself?
yeah, I was talking about Resident Evil.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
when was the first time you played it?
Oh, God. Um, Resident Evil, the first one?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it actually might have been in, like, one of those EB game stores, like electronics,
Uh,
I think back when it was called the Electronics Boutique.
one of those, like they got in GameStop right now?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess in the States they call them GameStop, but a lot of places here still call them EB Games.
Yeah.
But they're like EB Games slash GameStop. Anyway, one of those things back when it was called the Electronics Boutique.
Yeah.
And, like, they had the thing propped up and, like, new 3D graphics, look at all these wonderful graphics everywhere. And, I found the controls to be horrible. They reminded me of Tomb Raider. I hate up to mean forward. I can't stand that style of control.
Yeah.
It just frustrates and bugs the hell out of me. Where, like, pivoting right and left makes your whole body turn very awkwardly. But the atmosphere I thought was pretty cool in the game, though, and I thought the dialogue was absolutely hilarious.
And the camera angle, how it shifts off of you when you're about to die, and you're like, no, I want to see what I'm shooting at.
Yeah, like, when you go to a certain part of the room, it suddenly changes, and you have to remember that. At
Yeah.
first you have to press up, like, up is always forward. I guess that's why they did that, so that they can have these crazy angles, so if you want to get from one side of the room to the other, you just hold up, no matter what angle it's at.
Yeah.
But in this grand scheme of things, it's still very awkward to do. I mean, granted, some people get really good at it, but I just didn't have the time or the patience, and I still don't, for that kind of controls.
And that's coming from a guy who got scared of a game over screen.
Which game over screen was that?
You said back on one of your cottage videos, you said
Oh, yeah.
you remember somebody coming up from the States and they had an NES and you couldn't remember if it was Airwolf or
Operation Wolf.
Operation Wolf, but you was just playing it and all of a sudden you got killed and the game over screen come on and you got so freaked out you run back to where you was living at.
Yeah, I'd run back to the main cottage. I don't know why. It's just so weird of me.
I mean,
So strange.
Resident Evil used to scare the crap out of me. But after a time goes on, you get used to it, and eventually I got so good to where I could be RE2 with my eyes closed.
Hmm. Yeah, I would just watch other people play, like, the Resident Evil and the Silent Hill games and all those kinds of survival horror-based things, because I didn't really have the time, nor the patience, like I said before, to play them all the way through.
Yeah, what about, Clock Tower?
I watched a Let's Play of the first one, and that's it.
Yeah, the first one is actually called Clock Tower's The Fear Files, or the Files of Fear. Actually, it's called The Fear Files.
Yeah.
And then our Clock Tower was the second Clock Tower, and I guess we just kind of connect them. Like, our second Clock Tower was something else in Japan, and then we got in line. I mean,
it's like the whole Final Fantasy number mix-up thing.
well, it would have been straight if they had released Final Fantasy like they was planning. I mean, like if they released Final Fantasy back in like 86 or 87 when it come out in Japan.
They waited a long time, like until 1990 to release the first one.
Yeah, and by then the Nintendo was dying, so it didn't matter if you released the second game or not. I mean,
or the third.
Or the third. Well, by the time the third game got over here, it would already been dead, so. It's like Dragon Quest. It started out when it first got released, and it come over here as Dragon Warriors. I believe either a year or 2 years after the first release of Dragon Quest.
I'm wondering why they changed the atmosphere of the game so much. Like, 'cause they had all the wilt thou do this, or thou hast found a golden trinket, or, like all that old-timey English, and they changed the name of Lodo to Erdrick for some reason.
But what's funny is, we got all 4 of the NES versions of Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
And then we didn't get the Super NESs.
No, like, I have 5 on my DS, the Hand of the Heavenly Bride.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, if you gave us 4, and then later on gave us 7, why not give us 5 and 6?
I know, right?
And even 7 kept the Dragon Warrior name. It's like over here it's Dragon Warrior 7. Over in Japan it's Dragon Quest 7. I guess they thought, hey, we're going to be like Final Fantasy. We're going to bust out with our 7th game and be a wild hit.
But it wasn't until, Dragon Quest 8 that they finally got the name.
Yeah.
I think it might have been licensing issues. Like, there was a game called Dragon's Quest or something like that, and they had to earn the rights in North America and Europe to get the licensing or something.
I believe at the time, see, when Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy was running with each other, it was Enix and Square. And then the merge happened, and we got Dragon Quest 8.
From what I understand, actually, Dragon Quest was way more popular in Japan than even Final Fantasy.
I know it, but over here, Final Fantasy got the popularity stick. That's like over here in Japan, the Famicom and the NES was wildly popular, but now in Europe and like Australia and New Zealand, the Sega Genesis was.
And the Master System.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, we're living on 2 different sides here.
And I don't know why, because, man, a lot of those Master System games suck.
Truly.
Truly, madly, deeply.
Yeah, well, when you got your Genesis, you got the first Sonic game, right? When I got my
Instant
Genesis,
classic.
When I got my Genesis, you know what I got with it? Eternal Champions.
Ooh, rough deal.
So I guess I got like the first Genesis 2, or maybe the like the retarded version of Genesis 2, and they're like, we'll just put in this game.
The derpy cousin Genesis.
Well, maybe the game wasn't selling good, and that's why they stuck it with it.
Maybe they're like, okay, so maybe they made a whole bunch of Sonic ones, and they're like, well, we better make some ones that come with Eternal Champions, just in case this Sonic guy doesn't really pan out.
Yeah, apparently Sonic turned out to be their hero, but main thing bugged me is, like I said, you got 1, 2, and 3 on the Genesis.
Yeah.
And now you have to download 4, and to boot that in episodes.
Yeah, but from what I've heard, Episode 2 is far better than Episode 1.
I know. Well, I played a demo version of Episode 2, so I had Episode 1 on the Wii and got rid of it.
Why'd you get rid of it? That costs money.
Yeah, and it took up a lot of Wii space.
Oh.
It's like, hey, I want all your Wii space, and I'm like, no, I got other games that uses that. Get lost. Because I got Super Punch-Out on there, I got Mario 64, I got Rondo of Blood, I got Splatterhouse from the TurboGrafx 16. Huge Splatterhouse fan.
Oh, yeah. Did you see my Splatterhouse 3 playthrough?
Yes, and I've seen you play Splatterhouse 2.
Oh, number 2 is so hard.
Try number 1.
Oh, I did, actually, I think.
It's even harder than 2.
But at least with number 1, you can pump in as many fake quarters as you want.
Well, yeah, if you're playing it on the arcade, but I mostly played it on the TurboGrafx emulator, and that was brutal. Because back here, where I'm from, in Leslie County, we didn't get the TurboGrafx, or at least when I was around, it was either there and then gone, or it never got there.
Huh, I wonder why that is.
We only had Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, Walmart.
Well, that's all you need.
Yeah, and most of them Super Nintendo games costed $30-some bucks. You know, back then that was a lot of money to us.
Yeah.
When we was growing up, and even like now, you could be like $30. That's a steal. I'm gonna grab it.
That would be a steal.
Back then, a lot of the big name games like Zelda would be like $40 or $50, and you might find a cheap $30 game or $20 game. You're like, that's a steal back then. Now, that's probably totally crap.
I remember finding the first Katamari game on PlayStation 2 for $10.
Yeah, and that's a steal.
Yeah, and now it's really sought after.
Yeah, because then it was trying to become a series over here, and now it's kind of taken off as a series. Like,
yeah, I have Katamari Forever on PS3, and it's fun but frustrating.
Yeah, like how Resident Evil, see, at first when they started to make the game, they went back and said, well, we're going to remake Sweet Home. We didn't get Sweet Home. You've played it, right?
Sweet Home, I haven't played it, but I've seen people play through it.
Yeah, it was a video game based off the movie. Well, they was going to do a remake of the game, and they was just sitting there. I guess they was just sitting there throwing pencils up in the ceiling or banging the computer with a hammer or something. They was going, you know what? Let's just change the name to Resident Evil. Just copy the scenery, and from there on out, do whatever we want to with it.
Well, you know what the series is called in Japan, right?
Biohazard.
Yeah.
That I do not understand. Why change the name?
Maybe there's already a Biohazard kind of game here. You know, it's a lot of the licensing naming issues and things like that.
Yeah, I understand that, but, I mean, why, though? I mean, Biohazard would make a more perfect sense than Resident Evil, but...
I don't know, but now Resident Evil is an established name. I mean, heck, there's all those movies based on it, too, which I actually kind of like. I do like the Resident Evil series.
Yeah, I like it, too, you know. Mila see if I can pronounce her name right.
Jovovich?
Yeah, what you said.
Mila Jovovich.
She's actually a good actor, and from what I understand, she's a decent, okay?
She gets by.
Yeah, well, her Alice character beats her Fifth Element character.
Yeah.
I mean, here you got Fifth Element, here comes Alice. Alice is running from a horde of zombies. She flips up the wall, and the Fifth Element character just gets taken over by the zombies.
Yeah, but Fifth Element, that's a pretty badass movie, too.
Well, it's got Bruce Willis.
Oh, yeah.
And back then, all your major 80s action stars had to have their own version of sci-fi movies. Like, Arnold Schwarzenegger had The Sixth Day, and Sylvester Stallone had the,
Demolition Man.
Demolition Man, plus...
Which is awesome.
Plus Judge Dredd.
Oh, I love Judge Dredd. I like... It's one of those so bad it's good movies.
Yeah.
But even then, like, back when I saw it, I just loved it just because it was so over the top. Everything was so whiz-bang and, like, fun. Like, I thought Rob Schneider was actually funny back then.
That's where it got to start at.
Rob Schneider?
Yeah, he actually got to start in playing with Sylvester Stallone movies. Because he was in Demolition Man, too.
Oh my god, I forgot that he was in Demolition. Oh man.
And so's the girl that played on Speed.
Oh, she won the Academy Award for Best Actress. I can't remember her name now.
Yeah, she was on George Lopez for a while.
Oh yes, the popular talk show.
No, not the talk show, the horrible, well, it's alright, but it was not really catchy sitcom.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
okay.
like nobody wants to see a family full of Mexicans, so we're just going to cancel you and
What?
go somewhere else. You said what happened?
Yeah.
My headset died.
Headset died. Oh, it's wireless?
Well, yeah, but I got it plugged in, so it kind of stayed charged like a wired controller.
Oh, okay.
But for some reason, it just went beep, 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 and then flatlined.
Maybe it wasn't fastened in hard enough?
I don't know. It's just the whole thing's just, whack. But I'm using it right now, so. But
Has everything safely recorded?
Up to that point, we'd have to edit out that point where we kind of broke off.
Okay.
But,
Fair enough.
see where we was talking. Something about George Lopez. I can remember that.
Oh yeah. We don't want to watch Family of Mexicans.
Yeah,
Go.
so we're gonna cancel you and show young teenage girls getting pregnant.
Well, I mean, what is it? Ratings don't lie, right?
Exactly, and apparently George Lopez's ratings were so low that they could sweep the floor with them.
Well, I know for a fact my friends love the 16 and Pregnant shows, and Teen Mom as well.
Exactly. I mean,
And Teen Mom 2. They sequelized the show.
what is up with that? I mean,
I don't know.
It's about pregnant teens and a house
And
full.
the drama.
Yeah, and the house full of Mexicans couldn't keep you excited.
I don't know, I guess not. You can only go, ¿por qué? So many times, I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, get off the Mexicans for a minute. Not being racial, but
Well, Rachel's a nice lady.
but trying to think of got one. Your first experiences of playing both Final Fantasy 3 when it first come out, which you probably never did, and playing your first Dragon Quest game.
Well, if by Final Fantasy 3 you mean the one on Super Nintendo,
Yeah, 6.
6, which is my favorite Final Fantasy game, even up until this point, still.
Which you're doing a playthrough right now.
Yeah, but once again, I'm on indefinite hiatus, even though I've done everything I can do in the game up until the last tower and last boss.
Yeah.
But I still have to do, a bunch of leveling up and finding good items and blah, 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 blah. But I remember there was this guy named Paul in he was in high school. I think I was still I was in grade 9. He was in grade, I think, 11 or 12, I want to say. And he knew that I was big into video games. Like, somehow he'd heard through a grapevine. Like, we didn't hang out in the same circles because, in high school, it's like every grade is their own clique or something.
Their own independent group. So somebody from either your grade or from a grade up that you know linked it back to Paul that you was into video games.
So he, it's kind of creepy now that I think about it. He invited me over to, there's like this kind of apartment or house thing on the grounds of the school where like a bunch of the older kids can go to.
Basically,
And,
like if you lived out too far, they had their own independent dorms.
yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah, there's a school over here called Redbird Mission. That's what it's got.
Cool. So anyway, this is at a blind school. I went to like a school for visually impaired and blind people.
Yeah.
And he invites me over, and I was like, for what? And he's like, oh, well, there's this cool game I want to show you. I'm like, okay.
By this point, you was afraid, am I going to get bullied or get pantsed or...
Yeah, like, I had no idea. He was like, do you like video games, kid?
Like, I sell video games in the back of my van. Open it up, and if you don't see nothing, just crawl in. I'll take you to where they're at.
Party van. But anyway, so I get to the place, and this is the first time I've ever seen it. Little did I know several years later I would actually be going in there and living in there. But he takes me up to his room and shows me Final Fantasy III, which I'd never seen before. And so it was like, 1996 by this point? And the game was released in 94. And so he was like in Figaro Castle or something like that, and I was listening to the music and the overworld music of the World of Balance, and I was like, I love this game, even though I hadn't really given it a chance to play.
Yeah.
It was just I was in love with the soundtrack. And so he showed me how to play it a little bit, and I played for maybe like an hour, but then it was like supper time, and I had to leave because I had to go back to my own residence.
Yeah.
The intermediate residence. And he was like, well, I hope we can do this again. And never did it again.
So it's like a one-hit wonder.
One-hit wonder, but that was my first experience with Final Fantasy 3, also known as 6.
Yeah, which it released in April 2nd, April 2nd, 94.
Aha.
If I can get to a show. And May 11th of 95.
Where in
North America.
Oh, okay.
April 2nd in Japan.
Oh,
Like always, they get the RPGs either a year or 2 years before we do.
Back then, nowadays they can do it at the same time.
Yeah, nowadays, which, that's one thing else, is back when we was gamers, when you heard of this game, and you're expecting it to come out, it's usually like North America next year. Like Super Mario World actually come out in 1990.
Mm-hmm.
Where we didn't get it till like 92, 93.
Oh, we got it in 91, I think.
Yeah.
When the Super Nintendo was released.
Yeah. When the Super Famicom was released, which I'm looking up right now so I can, Okay, November 21st, 1990, Super Famicom, August 23rd, 1991. So we got on the 23rd of the following year, and they got the 21st of November of 90.
Oh, okay.
So they dropped what it was. Super Mario World was known as Super Mario Brothers 4 Super Mario World.
Oh.
But it didn't, what it was, the title screen didn't display it or anything, so I guess when they brought it over, they decided, we'll just drop the Super Mario Brothers part.
Yeah, no, don't try and confuse everybody. Like, is it Mario Brothers? Is it Mario World? What's going on here?
Well, we know it's part of the Mario Brothers series, so that's all we need to know.
Yeah.
Like how Yoshi's Island actually has it, Super Mario World 2.
Yeah, like but it's still part of the Mario Brothers series.
Yeah, and a spin-off of its own.
And personally, I think Mario World 2 is better than the original. Blasphemy, I know, right?
Yeah, which Mario 2 is actually Doki Doki Panic.
oh, Mario Brothers 2, yeah.
Yeah, and Mario Brothers 2 was strictly never released until the All-Stars collection.
Mm-hmm. But my brother actually got Mario Brothers 2 for, I can't remember if it's his birthday or Christmas, but one of them. And I was, by this point I'd already had a whole bunch of games, and I wasn't too big into Mario because the only experience I'd ever had was Mario Brothers, the first one, and it was very frustrating.
Yeah, because it's very difficult, and at one point of the game you have to jump and exactly jump again and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, Skinny Brick.
Yeah.
But I don't know. On my channel, I actually have a playthrough where I play Super Mario Brothers crossover drunk.
Yeah.
And somehow I beat it. I beat the game drunk.
Have you ever tried Mushroom Kingdom Fusion?
What's that?
It's a mixture. It's kind of like Super Mario Brothers crossover, but it actually mixes the Mushroom Kingdom with the real world and other different worlds from other different games. It's way out there.
Is it can I play it on a Mac?
I'm not really for sure if you can play on Mac or not, but you can go to their website and find out.
Alright, I'll put that in these notes here and I'll remember it for later.
But yeah, we got the consoles later, like how we got, like they had Famicom in 83, we got it in 85 because of the crash.
Yeah.
We got the Super Nintendo a year later, and we also got the video games, as in Final Fantasy 6 and Final Fantasy 4. We got them a year later than the Japanese releases, and then as it kept going up throughout the PlayStation, N64, PlayStation, Sega Saturn, Sega Dreamcast eras, right around the late PlayStation lifespan, we started going from year later to just 3 months down the line.
And then eventually, same time.
Eventually, same time, and eventually we got the game before Japan did.
Yeah, that was weird how that works out sometimes. I think, didn't we get like one of the Mario Galaxies before they did?
I believe we did. That's Super Mario Galaxy. I believe we did. I believe we got we got some of their offshoot RPGs that really it's a catchy title, but you're kind of at the store going, do I want it or is it bad?
Oh, you want it.
Yeah. We didn't get Mario Galaxy before them. I believe we got Mario Galaxy 2 before them.
Maybe.
Yeah. May 23rd, 2010. They didn't get to the 27th.
Ha-ha!
And Europe got June 11th, and Australia got June 30th.
Ooh.
Which Europe used to be like, we could get like Final Fantasy 3 or 6 like in 95, and then like in 97, 98, Europe would have got it.
Jeez, I hate how that works. I mean,
I know it. But that's how our gaming, gaming life was, because we didn't have the internet to get on and go to Google and look up when's this game coming out, and
yeah, you still had to go by like magazines and TV shows.
And the magazines would print, like, they do like a small cover of this game and be like try our new Castlevania Rondo of Blood. It's going to be great. It's awesome. You'll love it. And then next thing you know, you're just like, where does it go? And you find out years later, oh, it was only released in Japan.
But before you go on, there's a couple of things I want to address while I'm thinking about them in my head. First is the other half of your question, my first experience with Dragon Warrior.
Yeah.
I actually had a babysitter when I first moved to just outside of Peterborough.
A male one?
What's that? No.
Female?
Yeah, girl.
Oh, okay. Usually that's what babysitters are, I mean.
But she would bring over, she had some NES games, and one of them was Dragon Warrior, and I had never tried a game like that before. I'm like, oh, there's this dragon on the cover, and there's a knight, and this is going to be crazy. And then it turns out it involves menus and walking around and getting into battles. Leveling up, and I was like, boring, for adults, off.
Yeah. What about your first experience with Ninja Gaiden?
Ninja Gaiden? I think this is also when we were at Disney World. We, there was an arcade machine in the hotel in which we were staying, and one of the machines actually was a Ninja Gaiden machine.
Oh, the 1988 arcade beat-em-up.
Yeah, so that was my actual first time ever playing Ninja Gaiden. I never tried the NES version until years later, simply because, I don't know, the cover didn't look interesting enough. Like, ninjas were cool, but they weren't the kind of cool I was looking for.
Yeah, and they used the arcade machines graphic, no, not the graphics, but the Monique, what do they call them things? The display, like, that you put on the cabinet, the like big giant poster like display of the
Art Deco?
Yeah, the Art Deco. They took like a picture of that and put it on the NES cover.
Yeah.
But like I said, just like you, because you said that you used to rent games back when you was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I used to rent games from a store, which is probably a good 20 miles from me now.
Mm.
But where I talked to you at my uncle's place, it's just like a 5-minute, 10-minute drive. That's where I experienced games like Mario 2, Zelda, Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2, Double Dragon. He didn't have all the good games like Bubble Bobble or anything.
Yeah.
But I experienced some of the offbeats and some of the, decent games like Master Blaster.
Blaster Master, yeah.
Yeah, Blaster Master. What'd I say? I got Math Blaster on my mind.
That's a PC game.
I know. Blaster Master, Batman, Batman Returns.
Oh.
I got Batman Return of the Joker.
Oh, that's a good one.
Well, they're all three good, but the first two, the Sunsoft ones are going to be more memorable.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's got that catchy music. It's got that, oh, this is awesome, too hard to beat, but I gotta beat the game anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I experienced Castlevania 1 and 2, which I ended up buying from them. I bought the Zelda game from them.
Wow.
I bought the Double Dragon game from them.
Wow.
Let's see, what else did I buy from them? I bought Booger Man for the Sega Genesis.
Oh, God.
Earthworm Jim 2.
Huh.
I believe that's the only two Sega Genesis games. Oh, I also bought Fatal Fury 2. Which Fatal Fury is a good game. Fighting game, right?
Yeah.
And I can remember, I rented it once, brought it home, thought I was going to play this awesome fighting game. First I thought it was a Street Fighter game. Put it in, and you know what it is?
It's a fighting game.
Nope. It's that helicopter game, Steel
Battalion?
Steel Italian. Yeah.
Huh.
So somebody must have had like a screwdriver or something, took the Genesis cartridge apart and swapped the games out.
That's just weird.
And I got the cartridge. I got the Steel Italian game. It's just disguised as Fatal Fury 2.
That's a ripoff.
But I got Fatal Fury 2 for the Super Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. I also got Art of Fighting for the Super Nintendo, which I bought these games at a flea market.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I remember going to Walmart one day and wanting Super Street Fighter 2 and Ninja Gaiden Trilogy.
Oh, that's a mistake at Ninja Gaiden Trilogy.
Yeah, it's got bad controls. Well, the first game plays alright, but the second two games play like you can't jump.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But, I didn't end up getting them. So what Walmart did, I ended up getting Donkey Kong Country. And the guy felt so bad for me that he let me pick a game for free.
Really?
Yeah, and you know what I ended up getting?
What?
Chrono Trigger.
Whoa.
Yeah,
man.
back then nobody knew what it was. Now it's, you know, one of the, if you try to buy it new, like still mint, you're paying like over $2,000 for it.
Yeah, now it's heralded as a fantastic JRPG.
I know it. And the funny story is, years later, like when I was in middle school, I went to the flea market and found those two games.
Huh.
Found Super Street Fighter 2 and, no, actually I found Super Street Fighter 2 at a pawn shop in Harlan County, which is the county next to us.
Oh.
And I found the Ninja Gaiden Trilogy game at the flea market.
That's a shame.
Well, not really. I mean, look at, I was looking through a website called 3-Page Gaming.
Mm-hmm.
It's a gaming store out of Pike County, and they're charging $100 for Ninja Gaiden Trilogy.
Ugh, why?
I don't know why. I don't know what they see it special in it.
Maybe it's just another way for the game to screw with you.
Well, it would have been an alright game, but at that point, people was waiting on Ninja Gaiden 4.
And they had to wait until, like, what, the Xbox?
And even it ain't a Ninja Gaiden 4, it's just like a redone version of Ninja Gaiden, so it'll fit Dead or Alive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wouldn't want to put Dead or Alive anywhere near the game, but fortunately they decided, hey, let's do it anyway.
Dead or Alive. Bouncy, bouncy.
Yeah, well, they still had it to where you could play all three of the games, like Ninja Gaiden 2, Ninja Gaiden 3 from the NES. But the level was like way out there, and like by the third level, the third mission, it was already too hard to go through it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, you know what, screw it, I ain't going through it. I also had SVC, SVC SNK versus Capcom.
Oh, wow.
It was a good game. And I went to a place called Monkey Punch, just right, it's in Hazard, which is Perry County, another neighboring county.
Did you say Hazard County?
No, Perry County.
Oh, okay.
Hazard is the city.
Oh, because, yeah, I'm thinking like Dukes of Hazzard? Really?
No, we're not in Georgia.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, it was like Monkey Punch, and
Monkey Punch.
I saw something I ain't seen in a long time. Last time I seen it was at an auto parts store in Harlan County when I was little, and that was SNK's MVS machines.
Marvel vs. Capcom machine?
No. SNK. The company that brought us Guerrilla Warfare and...
But what kind of machine?
MVS.
What's MVS?
a multiple video system.
I'm not familiar with that term, but okay.
It's basically like it was like the arcade version of the Neo Geo, which Neo Geo is.
Yeah, I remember seeing those Neo Geo arcade machines with like multiple games on them.
Yeah, and they still had it there. It was, I believe it was up and running, and I was like,
wow.
I was like, man, that's awesome, you know. One day I'm going to have to come in here and put a quarter in it. And eventually, when I went back in there, they rearranged the store so much. See, every time I get to go to Hazard, I go to Monkey Punch, and it was, they just, you know, flipped the store around so much. Now they got a MAME arcade machine in it.
Ooh, so they can put anything they want in it.
Yeah, well, most of the MAME arcade machines, if you buy them, if you pay the extra money for them, they actually come with everything in it, all the arcade system, all the arcade games and Super NES games and all that.
Ooh.
And the game that they had displaying was X-Men Konami.
Oh, fantastic.
Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game.
Oh, the first one?
Yeah.
Cool.
And I was thinking of another arcade they could display at that time would have been like the second game.
Turtles in Time?
Turtles in Time, which in the arcades they wouldn't call Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 or 4.
No. There was just either Teenage Ninja Turtles or Teenage Ninja Turtles Turtles in Time.
Yeah. Like The Simpsons. That's a good arcade game.
Yeah. It's good enough.
I remember playing it on in a auto parts store just right below my uncle's place.
Really?
Yeah. The Mortal Kombat game's a good arcade system.
Yeah, I remember going to this place called Raiders of the Lost Arcade, in Peterborough, and Lansdowne Place, which has been totally rearranged from what I understand since I've last been there. But in there would be like when the first Mortal Kombat came, there was no elbow room in that place. Everybody wanted to play it. Everybody wanted to see the blood and the gore and the guts and knocking somebody into the pit and tearing people's spines out and, you know, watching people get eaten up or whatever the hell. It was crazy.
Walmart back in the early 90s, this is right around when, Mortal Kombat 3 come out.
Mm-hmm.
That was where there was no elbow room either. There's people weren't, there's like a big gang circle around it, and they've, like, you can see somebody playing against Motaro or something. They've taken turns trying to beat Motaro.
Oh god, he's so hard.
Yeah, and I played the arcade version of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 in a theater. Also where I got introduced to House of the Dead. The House of the Dead.
The House of the Dead.
And I played House of the Dead 3, and unlocked House of the Dead 2, and then just a couple months ago they released House of the Dead 4 for the PSN.
Really?
Yeah. So it kind of dropped the House of the Dead thing, which really it gave it a kind of a spooky feeling.
Mm-hmm.
To be a real arcade rail shooter.
But then there's like House of the Dead Overkill, which is apparently like they really go like right off the kilter with just how zany and wacky it is, which is fine because it knows what kind of game it is.
Yeah, but I really don't like the Overkill one because it's more like, okay, you're shooting zombies, you're in a strip club, there's zombie-infested strippers, and the boss is a zombie-infested stripper, and I'm like, really? What happened to House of the Dead where you just blasted zombies and it kind of like be a Resident Evil arcade game?
You mean like Umbrella Chronicles?
Yeah, but that was before Umbrella Chronicles, which they're releasing them too for the PlayStation 3.
Cool.
Yeah, they're releasing it today, actually, and it's called the Chronicles HD Collection.
Ooh.
Which is a lot of HD collections, except Killzone. It needs an HD collection.
We'll see.
Well, maybe Heavy Rain.
Ooh, I have Heavy Rain, and I like that game.
Maybe it should deserve a small collection whenever it starts to take off.
I think that's the only game in the Heavy Rain mythology or whatever that's going to exist.
But, getting back to where we was talking, see what some Killer Instinct.
Yeah, Fulgor's my man. Always has been.
First time playing it, Super NES or arcade?
Super NES, then arcade, and I owned ass in arcade.
Yeah, well, don't it feel kind of weird because the arcade game kind of plays like Killer Instinct Gold?
Yeah, and I thought Killer Instinct Gold was okay, but I prefer the feel of the Super Nintendo one more. But now maybe that's just me, because Super Nintendo was kind of when I was in my video game prime.
Well, that's when they sold more SNESs, when they started package Killer Instinct with it.
My brother actually got Killer Instinct. It was a black cartridge, I remember, and it came with a CD, like a full, like I think it had like 13 tracks on it of.
It was the soundtrack to it called Killer Cuts.
Killer Cuts, yeah, and it had the bone guy on it, whatever his name is. Skullface or whatever.
Yeah, Skeletor. Something like
yeah.
that. Yeah, I believe I just made a He-Man reference.
Yeah. I want to feature when you met. Why did he have such a nerdy voice?
I don't know. A lot of the 1980s bad guys had a nerdy voice.
And how does Skeletor have muscles? He's a skeleton. Does he work out 16 hours a day or something?
He took some skeleton buff power.
Yeah, but, like, you never see any of his henchmen working out. Like, this, I think I had a discussion like this with somebody else, but, I mean, like, all his henchmen, they're all so cut, and, like, all the heroes, they're all just super muscular. Like, even Prince Adam, when he's not He-Man, he's just ripped. Like, when do they find time to work out? Even Man-at-Arms, the old, the old Salt.
Yeah.
You don't see him picking up any barbells anywhere. Like, where do all these muscles come from? Are people of Eternia just naturally strong? No, because you got Orko. He's like a wimp. I don't know. Sorry, that's a bit of a rant. Where was I?
But, what about Mumrod?
Oh, Mumra? Oh, from Thundercats?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he used like some weird Lazarus pit thing to make him stronger, so that's understandable. And you see the Thundercats all like working out and doing flips and shit, so it's understandable why they're all strong.
So they have to fight a buffed up mummy?
Yeah, but you ever see him when he's old and feeble?
Exactly. He's just a wimpy, kick him over, he just falls over.
Yeah, but he's got all the super magic weird powers, mummy powers.
Unlike the two mummies from Castlevania.
Oh, yeah, they just walk back and forth.
Let's see, what else can we talk about? Your first time playing your first PlayStation game.
Oh, I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I do remember renting the PlayStation, I just don't remember what I rented.
Do you remember getting any other systems besides, the N64, which is your brother's, besides all the Nintendo, like, all the systems you've rented?
I remember renting the Sega Genesis, actually. I rented the Sega Genesis with Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah.
And, I think Sonic the Hedgehog.
So, you didn't rent, like, the Sega Saturn or anything else?
We rented that Japanese N64.
Yeah. With the Japanese version of Super Mario.
Oh, we did rent the Sega Saturn once. And we played Panzer Dragoon and Nights into Dreams.
Which is a fantastic series.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them.
Both of them, yeah.
Yeah, and for some reason the Sega Saturn didn't sell.
No, because they rushed it out, so it felt unfinished.
Well, what about the Dreamcast?
Well, I love the Dreamcast, and I wish I still had it, but some punk stole it from me and all my games.
Well, when we find him, we'll give him a Sega Dreamcast he will never remember.
Yeah, we'll give him a Nightmare Cast.
He'll be casting into his dreams for reality.
I don't know. It had to have been someone I knew, because sitting right beside it was my PlayStation 2, and right beside it all my games, and for some reason they left the PlayStation 2. They took the Dreamcast, all my Dreamcast games, and all my PlayStation 2 games, but they left the PS2 and my GameCube.
So
Yeah, I had a lot of systems then.
So basically, they just wanted the Dreamcast and the games and the PS2 games, and
that was it. That's all they took from me.
Didn't you have a PS2 game in your PlayStation?
Yes. Final Fantasy X.
They didn't get away with that.
No, I guess not.
But they kept you from changing out games.
I had so many PS2 games then, too. I was so upset.
Yeah. I hate it when people comes over and they're acting like friends, and then when you look, hey, where's my stuff?
Mm-hmm.
But,
and then you look at your window and it's wide open.
So he just went, put all in his secret sack and snuck off.
Actually, there was somebody staying with me, and her backpack went missing, so we assume he took her backpack, loaded it up with the stuff, and then just left.
Let's see, what else can we talk? That's your first time.
Oh, actually, I want to mention, I remember at the beginning of the show you mentioned Facade and Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, I forgot about talking about your Let's Plays.
Well, Facade, I'm not done with it. It's just, I haven't been in the mood to play it lately, but I will again. And Binding of Isaac I've been getting back into. I actually now have Wrath of the Lamb, the expansion for it.
Yeah.
So that's going to make things a lot more interesting and difficult.
But
I know.
But what makes Binding of Isaac easy for you to play is it's basically an overlaid survival horror of Zelda.
Yeah, which I like. And, easy enough to see, I guess. Sometimes, unfortunately, I had to sit my face really close to the screen, so if something's just out of my eye range, like a bullet or an enemy, I might miss it and get hit. But, I just got to find a way of being able to see the whole screen at once. But it's a very fun game, and everybody out there should get it because it's dirt cheap. It's $5 for the game and $3 for the large expansion. So that's $8 for a very, very, very replayable game.
An underrated game, basically.
Underrated. And I know it's my 50th Let's Play. It's going to be ongoing. I'll always come back to it, time and time again.
Like how Final Fantasy 3 is.
Yeah, that's an undertaking at this point. That's years in the making. Literally.
You talk about the indefinite suspension of that game, of that Let's Play.
Yeah, it's not really suspended. It's just I haven't gotten back to playing it.
Well, you're too busy doing the Let's Requests and.
I still have the Let's Request list. It's just a matter of sitting down and playing it. Actually, I have 2 Let's Plays in the can. I have your Let's Play that I will be uploading first. And then I have another Let's Play that I actually completed beforehand, but it'll go up second. It's one of me playing through a game actually with my girlfriend that visited me for a couple weeks.
Oh, what about, let's see, what else do you have the Let's Play? Or, Let's Request, you have Super Mario 63.
Yeah, 63. I have actually played it in the past before, so I kind of know what I'm getting into, but I haven't played it in a long time, so I still want to keep the freshness of it in my head,
Yeah.
I want to keep the newness of it fresh, so I'm not going to spoil it again or anything.
Yeah, well, basically it's a 64 with
side-scrolling.
With side-scrolling, and it's got both Galaxy and Sunshine stuff in it.
Yeah, the elements to it, yeah. Like the flood system, the flood machine, or whatever that's called.
Yeah, and the way you reach higher places with the stars.
Mm-hmm. Oh, also, I'm planning in the future to be doing a couple of point-and-click games for Let's Playing. I don't know how much people like them, because I know either you love them or you hate them.
Well, as long as it ain't like the one game you did there, it was based off that horrible movie.
One game I did off the horrible movie? What do you mean?
trying to remember what it's called. Shoot, I forgot. I ain't seen that Let's Play in a long time.
What kind of game is it? Like...
Trying to remember what the character's name was. At the end of it, it had like an alien scene, and it showed 3 of the main characters dancing.
3 of the main characters dancing?
Yeah, it's a... Well, I know you did the 7th room, right?
7th guest.
Yeah, the 7th guest.
It has excellent acting in it. If you like cheesy acting, that's the game for you.
Yeah, what kind of points of clicks are you looking for? Like, well, see, the Clock Tower, the first Super Famicom game, is a point-and-click game.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, like, the LucasArts games and Sierra games, like King's Quest and Space Quest, Police Quest, all those, like, Quest games, and, you know, that kind of stuff. I'm into that kind of stuff a little bit. Monkey Island.
Are you going to return and do, like, another Super NES Let's Play, or maybe your first N64 Let's Play, or...
Oh, yeah, I guess I still have to do an N64 Let's Play, but I gotta find a game that's, you know, fun enough for me to play all the way through, and, I don't know, I just gotta find the right game for me, you know?
You like Majora's Mask, don't you?
It's my favorite of the 2 N64 Zelda games. It's just, that's a very heavy undertaking of a game, and I haven't actually played Majora's Mask in a long time, and I'm hoping it comes out for 3DS sometime, but I don't know, I wouldn't be able to really play it through, because I think I would be bogged down with trying to remember, oh, where's this, oh, where's that, how do I get this heart container? It's just, it's been so long since I've really completed that game.
And plus, there's more extra added stuff in it.
What do you mean?
Like, there'd be certain items that went in the N64, and this, you know, there might be an extra added quest or something.
Oh, for the 3DS?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because they actually are thinking about making the Majora's Mask 3DS.
Yeah, Project Moonfall. I've been looking it up, and, well, it has a bunch of signatures, but I don't know if it has enough to garner Nintendo's attention. I've signed the petition, so hopefully it goes through.
Well, it's Nintendo. It either go through or he'll stay where it's at, so...
Yeah, I just really hope it actually goes through.
But, like I said, you got Majora's Mask, you could do one on Mario 64,
Ooh, well, that might be fun, actually. I haven't really done that many Mario games.
To be for sure, we know you're not going to do a Let's Play of Quest 64.
Gah. I rented that game, and I was so frustrated. Because I was looking forward to playing a 64-bit RPG, and we got Quest 64.
Yeah, and it quested out.
Yeah, Fester's Quest 64. Ugh, that would be horrifying.
Yeah, or you could play Mario 64 seriously half drunk.
Half drunk.
Or you could be full drunk, who knows?
You never go full drunk. I don't know, 64, I'd have to look at the library of games and see what I've played in the past that I liked Mischief Makers. I thought that was kind of fun to play, but I've never actually beaten it all the way through.
And it's from the creators of Dragon Quest.
Really?
Yeah, Mischief Makers is made by Enix.
Is it Enix or whatever they call?
Yeah. So this is about the time I wrap it up.
Alrighty.
I'm gonna put your channel in the description so everybody would, you know that you're on the show and everything. And when you do the LP, they will know that you know, when you upload it, they'll know that you apologize.
Yes, and I will apologize again here. I'm sorry that I delayed and neglected and forgot. I don't want to get the kind of reputation that, you know, I'm some guy that just that leaves things without, you know, letting others know. But I paid my dues because Mike Tyson, damn it.
Oh, that's alright. Me and Necro loves ribbing you, you know.
Yeah, ribbing me or ripping me a new asshole.
Well, we ribbed you. I don't want to rip anything that you have to use because...
Yeah.
We ribbed you because, well, you kind of putting me off, and you kind of did him the same way on the List Critics.
Yeah, I know, and...
You did that Castlevania apology video.
Yeah, half drunk.
Well, it's a pretty good video. I mean, it's a hard game.
Yeah, and I lost.
Yeah. Well, this
I was like, oh, fuck this, giving up, click.
This one you didn't lose. You just took all the losses out and throw them in a recycling bin.
Yeah, pretty much.
But still, you know, Mike Tyson, like a lot of people say, it takes you 5 years to master the 3 circuits, and then it'll take you another 5 or 10 years to master one boxer.
Yeah, the dream fight, because if you lose against him, that's it.
That's
you
game
go back.
over.
Yeah, it's game over.
But
which is bullshit, by the way.
Like I said, if you get 5,000 points and you can survive the 3rd round, you'll win. They'll give you the fight.
Excellent.
That's how I beat it.
Hmm.
I beat Punch-Out on a decision.
Well, you can find out how I beat it on my channel.
Yep, which is Armageddon Time at YouTube.
Yep. Pretty self-explanatory.
So hopefully next week I can get Armageddon.
That's me.
Yeah. We're not going to have Armageddon Time next week unless, you know, we want to bring him in for a second round. But
you guys love me.
But next week we're trying to get Necro VMX. I really want Tanya Lee Botello because I want to get myself into Star Studio.
Oh, really?
And talk about their Chronicles of a Dark Lord episode 2 and how the 3rd game's going to be, you know, how it's going to link in together, and also to find out if Shanadara Chronicle, if it's a new series or a spin-off.
Ooh, that'll be interesting.
But
well,
if I just get Necro VMX, it's just going to be plain out Necro.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for your time. Thank you for having me on.
Alright, love to have you on future shows.
Alright, thank you.
Alright.